What's up everybody, welcome back to another drawing tutorial. So today I've got Guts from Berserk. That sounded weird, I have Guts from Berserk. We're going to be drawing Guts from Berserk. So, it's a portrait, head and shoulders, and we're going to start up here with his right eye. So we're going to go diagonal up and then across, like so. As usual. So we're just above halfway. Middle line of my page is about here, and we come over to the right hand side a little bit. I suggest a pencil and hit pause if I go too fast. So his bottom eyelid is going to curve, come around his tear duct here and come down like so, and it's going to come back up into here. Like so. We could add some eyelash lines just on his top eyelid, just here. And a row of pretty small eyelashes down here, coming off his bottom eyelid. Like so. Really small. His iris is a half circle just right coming out from this top eyelid just here. It's going to come out from here, half circle, back up into there. And then his pupil is just here in the middle. So a real small sort of eyes. And then we can see his tear duct, pretty realistic drawn eyes in the Berserk manga. I'm drawing this from the manga. So his eyebrows, right? So he's frowning, and his eyebrow is like right up against this line of his eye. So it goes right up this way, and then it's going to go across like so. Bumps up here, and then goes back to a point back here. This is going to come back down then, like so, down to here, across the top of his eye, and it's going to curve around down here and back into the middle there. Now if you wanted to do it anime style, you could colour it in black, or if it's manga style, you would add sort of hairlines up in it, like this, following sort of the direction of the eyebrow, like so. Or you could just colour it in completely black, but it's up to you. I'll do kind of a mixture between both, just so fill it in a little bit, but have some texture hairlines just there. We'd see a little eyelid line just coming out from his eyebrow just there. And then he's a frown line just here in the middle, like so. So we're in proportion, realistic eyes in Berserk, so we come eye distance over, and that's where we're going to start his closed eye. So if you measure the eye from tear duct to tear duct, that's where his closed eye is going to start. So just here. So you can fit another eye in this distance. So this is going to curve up and around. And it's closed, like so. Kind of this S sort of shape. It's kind of smaller here, and then a bigger curve just here. And then he has eyelashes just sticking down from this. So sticking out, curving lines, coming down, like so. Like that. And then we've got some eye detail lines just going around it. So just in here we've a line just at the nose just here. And then we have lines there for his bottom eye. And then some lines for his eyelid, just a bump on his eyelid. So it's going to follow around this shape here. And maybe come up at the back just here as well. And maybe a couple of hatching lines just there as well. So his eyebrows pretty much the same as this one here. So first we have a frown line just there. We'll put that in first. And then we'll add the eyebrow, pretty much like this one. So it's going to come around. Right close to this eyelid line. Might even touch it a little bit, just like this one. And then we're going to bring it up. And then it comes down a little bit to a point and then goes back up to a point at the end. So it kind of kicks up, it goes at an angle, so it goes diagonal this way, comes across. When you get to the end of his eye, it kind of points up this way, like this one on this side. So it points up that way, then goes out to a point at the end, and then we bring it back to the top, back down like so, and then across to the bottom of his eyebrow down here. And like this side, you can color it all in or hair. Up to you. Right, so his nose, so it's just defined by that scar that goes across the middle of his nose, and then just the bottom sort of V. So we have just down here this V section. So we'll go down and around like so. And then maybe this side can come up for a little bit of a nostril just there. And the scar that comes across it, so we just go across like so. And then we'll do a double line just to make it look like it was a wound at one point. Now, so his mouth, so we can see just the edge of his mouth is like right under his eye here. And then the other edge is down here. And then we curve this line up. It's going to have a couple of bumps on it now, so we're going to bump it that way. Bump it back up towards that center part of the lip, and then back into here. The other side will be kind of like a mirror of this one, so it's going to go across like so. They don't have to touch. They're not touching in the image I'm drawing from. So, and this comes back down, back up to here. So it's just underneath his eye here. Downturned mouth, real serious looking dude. Smiles very little. And I don't blame him. So we can see a little bit, a suggestion of his top lip. So we just have a curved line here with a point that comes down to there. And there might be some hatching lines and stuff just there. His bottom lip then comes this way. Comes across, down like that, and back up into here. So just kind of a suggestion of his bottom lip. It's kind of like a sort of a W shape, stretched out. And his chin then, just down here. So now you can check your proportions. The nose is halfway between the eyes and the chin. And then the bottom lip is halfway between the nose and the chin. So you can check that, make sure you're in proportion, and then move on. So his chin comes across, and then big square chin like that. And this comes up to a big square jaw, like so. So when you get to about here, across from just his top lip, curves up. So just maybe above it on this side, but on this side it's in line. Like so. And don't worry if they're slightly different on both sides. It doesn't make much of a difference to your drawing. He could be clenching one jaw and not clenching the other jaw, you know. I'm just going to add an extra little line just underneath his bottom lip here, just so I can see it in the screen there. I'll make this a bit longer. Right, so we can see some of his sideburns here. So some of his hair comes up just along here. And then this comes around for his ear on top, just here. Like so. This is going to curve down, around to his earlobe. Like so. The other ear is about the same. Over here, we do a bit of a sideburn, bring it up and around. Back down. For his earlobe just there. And then in there we have bones and ligaments for his ears. So the easiest way, as always, as I always say, is just a little letter J like that. It's the easiest way to do it. Not a lot of detail, but you can add more detail if you want, which is just bumps like so. And maybe some hatching lines if you're going manga style. In the sort of darker parts, that's where you add your hatching. And then same thing over here pretty much. So we just add a few more detail lines. Hatching if you feel like it. Like so. Right, so his hairline. So we're going to do spiking, zigzag, hairline going around his head until we get to that fringe of his that sticks down. Like so. Same on this side. So we have his sideburns here. And then we're going to do zigzag lines coming out around his head. Like so. And then this is going to go to his fringe. So we've one spike coming down here, another one coming down here, and then we do that all the way across. So we start this side. So we go curving that way, curve back down, curving that way, curve back down, curving across to here, curving down, back up, another one here, back up, back down. And about here, somewhere around here above his nose, we're going to change direction. So these are all curving this way, but these are going to curve back the other direction now. So you're changing the sort of arc of your curve. So it curves back. These were curving in towards his face, and these are going to curve in towards his face on this side. And this, of course, is the white part of his fringe. Like so. And the white part of his fringe might have some hairlines coming down this. Now, so we're going to do spiky hair all the way around the back of his head. So it's pretty simple. You just do zigzag lines like so. Then we start to go all the way around to the top of his head. So the top of his head should be about here, because the eyes are halfway down the head. So about here. And then there might be some hair sticking up. So if we say top of his head is here, we're going to stick up some hair above it a bit, because it sticks up off the top of his skull. Right, so we keep going. Like so. And then we'll start to go back the other side. Might be some sticking up behind, maybe. And back towards his ear. And of course, this hair is mostly black, apart from the white section that's just in here. So there's a few white spikes just sticking up in here, like so. And the rest is pretty much dark black. And the white spikes might have some detailed hairlines inside, just like so. And the rest of his hair is black, and there might be some white highlights or something. If you were colouring it in, you could leave some, maybe some white highlights, like sort of this in here. So if you were colouring around them, you could add a couple of those. Just in at this side of his nose, I'm going to add another sort of a line just to define his nose. I think we need a bit of definition on his nose on this side. So just in here, this brow line, I'm just going to add maybe a line coming down like so. Maybe a little line at the tip of his nose just here. Something like that, just to give it a bit more definition. And we'll do like we did on this side as well. We'll curve a line around his eye, just going this way. Like so. His neck, so it comes down real long from his ear. Real muscular neck. And it comes down into that dog armor that he has on. For anyone who doesn't read the manga, he's got new armor. Right, so this dog armor. So we're going to do a big curve line coming all the way around. So it comes from, say, here at his neck. So this is going to curve down. Like so. So it's like a big letter U going the whole way around his neck. And then we can add some neck muscles just in here. Another one here. Coming down like so. And then his Adam's apple just about here. Maybe another line just that way. And maybe another muscle line just coming up that way. Right, so now this armor, so it has like teeth on it. This is the part of the armor that comes up and closes around his head. So it's the mouth basically of the dog. So it's got all these spikes coming down it. So starting over here, we'll do the first spike. So it comes up like so. This then will spike down out to there. This side's the same. So spikes up like so. Down and out to here. And then we're going to bring it around. So it comes down like so. This one comes down like so as well. So we're going to curve it all the way out to a spike out here. And this one curves out to a spike out here as well. It's an odd shape, but try your best. This one is going to spike back in towards the center, like that, kind of a curved line. And then this is going to curve back up to this one. So we're going to go curving up to there, like so. So there's a line that kind of goes down the center, just here. And then out from that we have our first teeth. So just here, coming out like so. And then we have tooth, spike, and up to the next one. Just zigzag lines all the way up like so. And when we get to here, they kind of get a bit smaller because they're joining together and going around. So we're going to get a bit smaller. And then the last one goes right up into there. Do the same thing over here. This comes down, comes back up, down, up, down. And then they get a bit smaller here and up into the back. And now just to add a bit more detail, we're going to add some sort of shade lines or sort of lines to make these look a bit more 3D. So that comes down like this, that comes down like so, like so, like so. All the way from each point. There might be one going up towards the point in there. And then we do the same thing pretty much over here. Now, just to make these look a bit more 3D, we're going to go bring a line back this way, like this, making it sort of like an L, sort of this way. Like so. So. And then in here, we're going to add a shadow. So we're going to add just some hatching. Or you can color it fully black. So adding this sort of triangular shadow just here. And we do the same thing pretty much over here. So we go L. Like so. And then shade it in. Like so. Now we can see some of his shoulder just back in here. So just down here, coming across, or it's like his hood or his cape, just coming across here. And there's an extra sort of ridge line just coming down the edge of this piece of armor. Coming around like so. To there, maybe just like that. Just trying to make it look a bit more metallic. That's what we're after. And this may curve a little bit here, coming up to the point of this first tooth, just like so. Right, so he has a pretty tattered looking cape on, so it comes down just from here, and it's pretty jaggedy, ripped, sort of coming down like so. And his shoulder on this side is going to, he's going to bump down and around for some folds for his clothes, just like that. And the other side is pretty much the same thing, just over here. Like so, bumping down off the page. His cape on the other side then, just here. Like so. And then we can see a little bit of armor inside there. So we can see a V section coming down right the middle. Then this is going to curve back. It's going to go back this way. Like so. And then this is going to curve back that way. And then we have this line continues a bit further. And then we have the next layer. So this obviously goes in layers the whole way down his body, but we can only see a certain amount. So there's like a button here, and then he's a leather strap coming this way. And then this armor going underneath it here with a button just there, or a metal stud or something that's keeping it together. And we might give this ridge just an extra line just there like that. And right, so his cape then, we've got like clotheslines, fold lines, so coming all in this way. Bumps for his clothes, cape that's wrapping around his shoulder. and then they start to travel down the way. Some of these lines might be thicker for some shadow. You don't have to do this bit, of course. I'm just getting carried away as usual. You can add as much of this as you want. And then on the other side, so just coming out from under here, some coming around that way, coming back in, another one there, curving down now, another one going that way. And as I said on the other side, you can thicken up some of these lines, add some hatching if you wanted, just to make them look a bit darker. But not necessary. You could keep going. There's so much in this black cape, so much hatching in the image, you could probably stay going for about an hour, but I won't, because I'll save you the boredom of me just hatching lines. Anyway, okay, we can see the handle of his sword just coming up from his shoulder, just here. Might need a ruler for this. Like so, first line, and then this line comes down into here. And then he's got lines that go across it. And just adding some hatched lines coming down this side. Just going to use my okay, that's it. How to draw guts from Berserk. So you could add as much shadow. I've said this about 4 times now, but he's so well drawn, you know, the drawing style in the manga and stuff. It's very detailed. There's lots of shadow on his face. you know, there's more detail in his hair and stuff like that, but I'll leave it there. That's the basic idea. You can add as much as you wanted after if you looked up maybe an image of guts. But that's the contour lines. That's the how to draw the outline of them anyway. Hope it was helpful. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.